are back, ladies and gentlemen. This is The Historian with my co-host, Elliot Lachance.
Hey, hey.
Say hey!
Hey!
And we have our guest tonight, Mr. Neal Parks. How are you, Neal?
I'm great. How are you?
Oh, I'm good. Real good. Having a good night.
That's great.
So, what are you doing? I'm going to start with that. What are you doing right now? Just chilling at home, or?
Oh, I'm wearing just lounge shorts, actually. I'll be putting this video online so you can see. And right now I'm wearing some tropical shorts. It's actually Hawaiian Tropics. They're green.
Oh, wow.
It looks like I'm a Boston Celtics fan. I really don't give a hoot about sports, but I'm also wearing my name badge from when I was a guest speaker at the Ohio Paracon. Long live Paracon 10. Unfortunately, we didn't have one in 2011. I'm also wearing a shirt from where I used to be a tire salesman. It says Yokohama. Has nothing to do with the paranormal. And as you can see from this video, I am currently in my man cave, which is also my office. I'm an avid Star Wars collector. And I have a massive amount of cardboard cutouts of Darth Vader and so forth. And I have action figures as my border along the top of the wall. And I have this awesome throw rug of Darth Maul right here. But other than that, yeah.
You could be Elliot's brother. I swear to God, you could. Eli. Eli would belong great.
Where do you live, Elliot?
In Missouri.
Ah, that's a great place. I have an uncle that lives in Joplin, Missouri.
Yeah, that's about, let's see, about 2 hours away from mine.
Yeah, his name is Gary Parks.
Gary Parks.
Gary
All right,
Parks.
shout out to Gary Joplin.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he is actually, my father is one of 4 brothers. My father's name is Derry, he's the youngest. And his brothers are Larry, Terry, and Gary.
That is actually pretty interesting.
We're Appalachian. There's not a lot of variety as far as names. Either you're like Bubba or Duke or Larry, Derry, and Gary. But I managed to be named Neal, thankfully.
And we wouldn't have it any other way. There's only one Neal Parks.
The Brad Pitt of Paranormal, that's right.
Brad Pitt of the Paranormal. I totally forgot. I'm sorry. I should have introduced you as the Brad Pitt of the Paranormal as Amen. You'll have to excuse me. So listen, okay? 20 years of experience. You've written about unusual, unbelievable things. What made you found PPRI, Parks Paranormal Research Investigation?
What brought me to that, after, like you mentioned, the years of experience I've had in doing my own research and going to places on my own, I started a couple of other teams before Parks Paranormal, and it just wasn't the right mix. It wasn't the right vibe, I guess you could say. And it was actually an episode, if you're familiar with Joel Osteen, the televangelist, it was actually an episode. I watch him from time to time if we miss a church service. You know, I always feel kind of skittish if I miss something. So we watch Joel Osteen from time to time. And he brought up the point that the equivalent of trying to pull someone up on a table, it's far easier for them to drag you off of that table you stand upon. Basically, if you surround yourself with negative energy and negative people and dark people, not that I have anything against races or anything, dark people not in reference to color of skin, but overall lifestyle and spiritual persuasion. Basically, that is what the epiphany was that made me want to start my own large paranormal research team involving solely close personal friends and family members. So I feel now we have the right mix.
And is Steve and Brent still part of that?
Yes, they are.
Good. And how are they doing?
Oh, they're doing wonderfully. Steve and Brent, they're both tied up with 2 kids apiece also. Not their own. They both have their own wives. They didn't go out and adopt 4 kids or anything. But Steve and his wife, in fact, I just watched their 2 kids today for a short while Steph, Steve's wife, went to a doctor appointment. That was fun. 4 kids in the house. Yeah, that bottle of rum didn't last long.
Oh, come on, Neal, you can handle it.
They always want me to tell them stories and show them pictures of ghosts. I'm like, no, I'm not going to give you nightmares.
Exactly. You don't want to do that.
No, and my 4-year-old, he's obsessed with it. My son, Lucas, he's actually gone on a few cases with me. I refer to him as my little seeker. He's actually encountered and interacted with things that I'm getting a sense of, or I see in an outline or a shadowy format, and he'll usually see the full-fledged apparition before I do. So I'm getting him actively involved at a very early age.
Well, you don't think that would like frighten him, or
Oh
you
no,
know?
I don't expose him to like horror movies or horror television shows or anything scary as far as TV or movies. But he loves Halloween. He loves the whole cemetery scene I do in our front yard with the skulls and the skeletons coming up out of the ground and the zombies and the tombstones. He sees it as Halloween. And he loves to get dressed up and get candy. And I guess if he thinks he sees a ghost, he's going to get candy. I'm not sure.
Well, that's good. It's good that he has a very a childish outlook on it, and he's able. I mean, Connor. I say something about a ghost. He says, "Oh, Mom, that's a guy in a mask. Don't touch Scooby Doo."
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, I've not encountered any Scooby well, actually, I have had a few Scooby cases, and there wasn't anything like I'd get away with it if it weren't for the Brad Pitt of Paranormal. I didn't have any props like that, nor did I have a dog assist me. But maybe I need to bring my dog with me too.
Oh, very cool. So it says that you have investigated places such as Elizabeth's Grave, Cross Keys Tavern, Guest House Bed and Breakfast, Lloyd's Sweet Shop, the Union Block, the Archive Building, and other places in Chillicothe. Out of those, what do you think was your most memorable hunt?
Ooh, that's a tough one because if you look at a hunt per se, that would be the entire team going in and doing a thorough investigation. That hands down would have to be Majestic. But a personal encounter that was not an intentional hunt but turned out to be that was one of the first times my son, encountered an apparition and was almost like playing peekaboo with it. And that was at Lloyd's Sweet Shop. The reason being that is so enchanted is because the top floor used to be a brothel during the days that Chillicothe was known as Little Chicago. This used to be a crime-ridden area because of the canal coming through here and all types of scurv of the earth, almost like the scene in the cantina in Tatooine. That's the kind of people that hung out here.
Very cool. So, it's Elliot. You have any questions for Neal? I know you were interested in a few things.
Yes. Hey, Neal, I was wondering, man. You said you've been have 20 years of experience. Like, how old were you when you started in the paranormal and whatnot?
5.
Huh?
5 years old.
5 years old? You started at 5 years old?
Yes.
Like, is it like experience that like started research, or do you have an experience that started you into it?
Due upon my reading level as a 5-year-old, my actual diving into researching and reading about it didn't technically start till the age of 8, around 8 or 10, but involvement in seeing things and feeling things started at around 5, and it all started with seeing my deceased grandfather coming to me around the same time every year between the ages of 5 to about 11. And I would see him the same way each time. He had huge gashes in his wrists, a huge slit across his neck, and we had been told the entire time when we were grandchildren that he had just died of old age. Problem was, he actually committed suicide by slitting his throat and his wrist, and I didn't find that out until I was 21. So then all of those encounters between the ages of 5 and 11 really made sense at that point. And at the age of 11 is when I was actively involved, more so in church and being a part of a youth group, and something just dawned on me. Maybe I should pray to Christ to make him go away, take him where he needs to go. On the other hand, if I had inadvertently prayed to send him on to where he needed to go and I sent him straight to hell, that would suck. But I'm hoping that I offered salvation through prayer to him, like purgatory.
So you do believe in the whole cleansing thing as far as your technique when you ghost hunt? Because I know some people just want to exploit their findings to kind of glamorize it, almost like you see with a lot of the TV shows today. So how do you feel, when you go in to say a place and they were to say, okay, no cleansing, no moving the ghost on, how would you react to that?
I usually interview and talk to the people before we even set foot on the property. And my case manager now has a waiver that we have them sign for reasons basically not to get sued. That way they know that we're not a funded organization. We're not publicly traded like through stocks and bonds. We're not a licensed or insured or bonded organization. We are basically just a group of believers who've come together and try to rationalize and reason with people as to what they're seeing, give them explanations. And if it's something that I do not like, I don't push things through. If it's something that is more of a nature of a demonic entity, or something that's dark, or something that is truly stuck in transit, I often flip those cases over to a pastor that I'm well acquainted with and a priest that I'm well acquainted with, both of which do blessings and cleansings and exorcisms. I don't want anything to attach itself to me, so that's why I myself don't do it. Now that I have children, I absolutely cannot open myself up to that.
Elliot, what do you think about that?
That's like, I don't know, the whole thing is, my whole, when I've done investigations, the thing is, you go in and if you can't handle something, you gotta pass it off. I agree 100% with that, but you gotta help the people. That's my whole thing. I'm outside of the research part of it, more of the helping side.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah.
There's
Because personally, when I was younger, I had an experience that happened to me, so I know it's true. I don't need the research there to back it up and tell me it is. So what I do is I go in with these usually like younger. I'll help with like extreme cases with younger people, because like younger kids and whatnot. Because when I was a kid, that happened to me, and I had nobody really there that understood what happened to me.
Right.
So.
Yeah, I don't go in offering the people false hope or saying we're going to make this go away for you. I'm very upfront about it. That way they don't have any expectations lowered at that point. Because the last thing I want to do is, first of all, destroy my credibility. Second of all, give my entire team and the entire genre of what we do as a collective, and that refers to every team out there. I don't want to give any of us a bad name or make us look hokey by not offering a resolution of some sort.
And that's good. I mean, at least you're able to be honest, because let's face it, and I know that, Elliot, your dad feels strongly about this, that, you know, there's a lot of people out there in it for their own benefit, and they don't really look at what's important, and that is helping people.
Yes.
You know, it's very good. Neal, we have somebody in the chat room, Lee Allen from Paravision.
Oh my God, what's that loser want?
Says, how is Neal Parks? He's asking, how are you doing?
I'm wonderful. I'm glad to hear from him. I consider him to be family anyway, so I'm happy to hear from him. He actually did a case for my half sister-in-law.
Okay.
She runs a hair salon in Marion. The hair salon happens to be an old restored property / cabin / barn, and they have had all types of bizarre encounters and all levels of activity occurring there for years. And it got to the point where I had been there many years ago, and something about it just did not jive, did not make me feel well or feel welcome. And when it came up again that she was wanting me and my team to come up and research it, I kept having reoccurring dreams about it, not feeling right about it, and realizing that if something truly is wicked there, or there's a non-human spirit, there's a good chance I could agitate it, and it could latch onto my shirt or manifest itself through my shoes, and then end up possessing my children's toys. So I passed it off on to, I referred Terry, that's my stepsister-in-law, to Lee and his team, that they would be the right team for that. They'd be the right fit. Plus, she's very well affiliated with Deb Lance, who is their medium that works with them. She's a great lady, and she does Deb's hair. So it's just kind of 6 degrees of separation there.
Right, exactly. We all know each other.
Mm-hmm.
All right, Neal, this is kind of off the wall, but it's something I heard at a con we were at, and I know you're into UFOs and stuff. So
No, I don't believe in any of this hooey. I just do it for the chicks and money.
All right, man. Well, anyways.
Yeah, okay, we'll pass.
I walked
Go
outside, and I'm standing there smoking a cigarette.
You walked outside where?
I overhear this guy saying that
Okay.
that movie Battle LA was based off true events, and the government covered it up. And I was saying, since I don't know really anything about UFOs and like that, and I've seen that you did, I was going to ask you that question, see what you thought about it.
Did he give any specifics as to how they were able to hypnotize the masses to not see the destruction in Los Angeles?
I quit listening after that. I'll be honest. I
Was
did. I
he
quit listening. I was like, okay, I'm gonna push it inside.
was he pushing a grocery
was
cart with a bunch
seriously-
of mannequin heads in it?
I have no idea, man.
Wow.
See, like people actually thinking that. Like, where was I?
No, I could see someone saying, "Oh, that's what happened on 9/11. That was a UFO attack," and they tried to pin it on Al Qaeda. Yeah, that I could see people trying to rationalize and use that, but no. Neither city was
right?
attacked by aliens.
I know that's the. I didn't believe him, but
We just thought we would sit because we just keep pondering over this and like talking about it, like what? And I even actually went as far as renting the movie so I could see maybe what they were talking about. And
Yeah.
even Connor said, "What? These aren't even aliens; they're robots." I'm like, Connor, the aliens are in the robots. He's like, this didn't happen. He's 7. Okay.
It's like the same moron who said The Hills Have Eyes Part 2 really happened, where the
That might have.
reserve guardsmen were.
Have you seen some of the people?
Well, yeah, like the fish head